I recently purchased a practice with Kevin Baird, and this was a sell and stay agreement. Sell and stay, essentially, the rep wanted to stick around, and really kind of broke down into three different phases. There was the getting to yes, understanding who he was as a person, creating that relationship, that bond. There was the negotiation process itself, and then there's life post-transaction. So getting to yes was really fun for me. I had taken some swings and misses over the years on practices, and I had tried to do it in a way that I thought they wanted, right? Whether it was like an escalation clause or an earn out or any of these other things. And I kind of went in guns blazing. And the industry statistics are, 50 buyers for every seller. The most important thing Kevin wanted is fit. And I would say it fit. On these transactions, it's all about having a good relationship with the person that you're working with. And so after Kevin had expressed interest that he was looking for a transition policy, we just got to know each other. It was a couple of different breakfasts. There were some office meetings. We didn't talk business at all. It was just more, who are you? What type of person are you? And one of the things that I was really looking for was someone with high integrity. And I feel like I got that in spades. And I think that there was a lot of shared interests there and shared commonalities. So getting to that yes, where we want to start the negotiation, is really just getting to know the person. Not giving any ideas, just letting them run the conversation. Now, once we got to that point, I cannot recommend enough working with a disinterested third party like Succession Resource Group. They were amazing. Not only did they do the valuation, but they also helped us through the negotiation process to handle all the little things that might create friction between a buyer and a seller. And so I really leaned on them for almost everything. I worked with a rep with Osaic out of Los Angeles, who's a super OSJ. He's hundreds of reps underneath him. He's bought dozens of practices. And the one thing he told me was, do not negotiate the number. The number is the number. And what we need to do is figure out exactly what the advisor wants. So as we went down the negotiation process, I really learned what he wanted. He wanted to stick around. He wanted to have a second in command in case something happened to him. In his words, he doesn't want to be the oldest guy in the grave, I don't want to be the richest guy in the graveyard, is what he specifically said. And so what we did is we went through this process knowing that he wanted to sell and stay. And so with that, Succession Resource Group told him everything he could do and everything he couldn't do. There were really only a couple points of negotiation where he and I had to have an honest conversation. So can't speak highly enough for a disinterested third party. They helped us, of course, with all the contracts and all the, what ifs, that type of thing. So we got to that point where I'm now an equity partner with Kevin. I have an option to purchase the rest of the business after 3 years. He wanted me to also give him some of the upside that the practice grows by in the next 3 years. So it's a unique structure with how you would execute a transaction. It looks like an earnout, but it's actually a seller finance note. So, meet them where they're at. I mean, that's it. At the end of the day, let's just meet these reps where they're at and really get to know them. Life post transaction has been fantastic. As I came from the wholesaling world, so as a wholesaler, my ego would have said, I want the whole thing, right? I want to be the man. And coming in as a junior partner, I have a mentor. Our client retention is 100%, right? There's no risk of losing clients. I know 2 other people that bought books of business. The rep moved either out of state or to a different town, and they got shingles because they were worried about clients leaving. So this is, I couldn't speak highly enough for the sell and stay. And at the end of the day, it's just fit, and meet everybody where they're at. And if I could just there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about, because there's also a continuity program, right? In addition to that, there's a transition program. Continuity programs kind of like dating, right? You don't have to love the person you're with. Just get the worst case scenario set up so that you don't disinherit your wife or your kids, right? When you're actually executing a transaction, that's where you want the fit to be a little bit different. But every advisor here should have a continuity program in place. And not every advisor here needs to do a transaction, and not every advisor here needs to sell their whole book to someone. So those are the things that I've learned. It's been a great process of transitioning. Is there anything I would have done differently throughout the process? relax more, stress less, let the process work out in the way it's going to work out. Coming from a sales background, I'm used to things happening very quickly. Activity, results. And in the financial advisor world, I've really noticed that things will matriculate very slowly. Client relationships with advisors can take years, sometimes decades, to really come to fruition. And this process took over a year. So I would just say trust the process, that things are going to work out, and don't put any undue burdens on yourself to get things done quickly or any of that, because things have to happen in the time that the seller wants them to happen. The seller gets one shot at this. As a buyer, you can bid on many different books, but the seller, they want to be careful with this. So let them take their time if they need to. How did my workload change? In this case, it went down. And was that strategically planned? No. Coming from a sales background, I'm very used to activity. And what I'm understanding in this advisory world is maintaining and growing client relationships is something that doesn't happen overnight. And so with that, there's not a lot of things that have to get done on a daily basis. Now, there's many different projects that we have right now, but the only urgency that's been created is the urgency that I'll give them. So, we're going through the process of rebranding. We're doing a new website. We're evaluating our technology partners. We're evaluating our custodian. All these things take a good amount of time. But what I'm understanding is that they don't have to get done tomorrow, right? Everything's okay as it is. If we can create additional efficiencies, that's great as well. But the other great thing about the sell and stay is that now you have two heads better than one. And you've got, we could have multiple clients in the office now. So we have a much greater level of efficiency just naturally with having that sell and stay agreement. So another great reason for me to really say how much I love the sell and stay and taking on a junior partnership role versus making sure that I'm the guy, from day one. So would not have expected that. There's days where I sit in the office and I'm wondering what I should be doing. And at the end of the day, we're doing exactly what we need to be, which is being there for our clients.